Hi, everyone. It's Connie Myers. It's Saturday morning. It's 10 o'clock. So it must be to 70 and beyond. And, last week I talked a little bit about having COVID. And the good news is that I am on the mend. I did have a little bit of a relapse yesterday where I was really, really tired. But today I'm feeling pretty good. But in the last couple of weeks, besides having COVID, I've been kind of tossed a few little challenges, and I was reflecting on it this morning when in my Crystalline Moments book, I always talk about everything happens for a reason, for a positive reason, and those crystalline moments are our ways of guiding us throughout our lives and telling us the directions, even if it's a tiny little crystalline moment of something really small and simple, but it's a decision that we have to make. And so I've been, even though I had COVID and I was trying to think, and the brain was definitely full of fog, I was having a hard time really evaluating and moving through certain things. Thank God I've got people in my life that don't mind listening to me and helping me to make a decision. So crystalline moments, when they show up, we can go this way or we can go that way. And whatever decision it is that we're going to do, if we are listening to our instincts, to our inner voice, then they are guiding us in the right direction, right? So I've had a few decisions like that I've had to make and how I wanted to move forward, which were going to have a major impact on my life and who I'm surrounded with. Well, so if we just listen to our inner voice and we decide to not to ignore all the other noise and stuff that's going on outside, we then can make those decisions. And there's always a gift. There's always an opportunity. I've talked about before how when my husband passed away, the greatest gift he ever gave me was in his passing, because I would not be doing what I'm doing today. And some of the things that have happened so far this morning have proven that I'm right on track with my crystalline moments. So I wanted to pull up in the book here, one of the things that I talk about is mindset and what kind of mindset that we need to have. And I had written a chapter for another book. It is called Resilience in Disaster. And I quote Dr. Alia Crum, assistant professor of psychology at Stanford University. And he explains how a mindset is a lens through which you view the world. So we can either be the mindset of the victim, like, for example, in disasters, the victim is like, oh my, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to move forward. But the resilient mindset is, well, I've lost everything, but I can rebuild. And that is the secret to what we want to do, and it's how we create that cup that's half full instead of half empty. And I go on to say in here, in emergency management circles, the resilience of communities, businesses, and individuals is a hot topic. They actually score resiliency. They have things that they look at, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's streets, whether it's roads, or if it's buildings or whatever it is. They have a score that they give for resiliency. So I want you to think about that this week. What is your score for your resiliency? On a scale of 1 to 10, is your cup half full or is it half empty? If it's half empty, what can you do to create a cup that's half full? Well, it boils down to preparedness. How prepared are we for the different things that are going to happen in our lives? How prepared are we to be able to make those tough decisions? The biggest decision I had to make after my husband passed away was whether I was going to stay in Vegas or I was going to go back to my dream home in Portland. And it turned out that I really didn't make the decision. Somebody, I think maybe it was Tom, made the decision for me. I woke up in the middle of the night, or I woke up in the morning and the decision had been made. I was going to stay in Vegas. And I went, really? Because I had always told him, do not ask me to move to Vegas. But here I am. And to be honest with you, it was exactly what I was supposed to do. So I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if I hadn't been here, if I hadn't been surrounded by the people that I'm surrounded by. All of those things play a key role in where I'm going and where I'm headed with the nonprofit, with the book, with all of this. So when it comes time for you to take those lemons and turn them into lemonade, What is the sugar? What is the sugar that's going to turn that around for you? And analyze it. So take a look at it. Why is a resilient mindset so important when it comes to disasters or crises in our lives? Usually the first thing that happens in an emergency is the mind goes blank. You know, when you've had something happen that surprises you or shocks you, the first thing you do is you stop thinking, right? It figuratively freezes. Yes. When we believe we have an intruder in the house and that our car has been stolen, we ask ourselves, what do I do now? And that is the first thought that people have after any kind of a crisis or a disaster. What do I do now? Fear and panic take control, and a person will go into fight or flight response. In one of my interviews of Kickabout Leadership interview series, a real estate office with 40 agents in Malibu, California, she was born there, and her mother still lived in their home. The family home actually burnt to the ground. She and her husband, she had 2 little girls at the time, and the fire was headed this direction. So they thought they were safe because they were this direction. And it turned out that in the middle of the night, the fire turned, the wind turned, and they got a knock on the door saying you had 15 minutes to get out. So I want you to think about that. If somebody told you you have 15 minutes to get out of your home, what are you going to do? Well, the first thing she did is spin around in a circle for half of that time trying to think about what she needed to take. And when they got to the shelter, they realized they had not brought one single thing for their daughters. Not one thing. And at the time, they were little, like 4 and 2 or something like that. And they brought nothing for their kids. That's why no matter whether it's a disaster, whether it's some other kind of, maybe it's an illness, being prepared helps you with your mindset, that helps you to move forward and respond without having to really think. So that's why the drills are so important. That's why first responders do all those drills. That's why it's important to know exactly what you're going to do. Take a look at all the different scenarios around you. What are the potential problems? For me, I mean, I'm getting older, so one of the things I have to think about is, okay, my health. What can I do to help make my health a little better all the time? And actually, COVID has been a good experience for me because I figured out what I need to do and how I need to do it. So this week, I want you to think about what would you do if you were told you had 15 minutes to get out of your home, or you had 15 minutes before you had to have emergency surgery. What would you have to do to be prepared? What would you have to do to fix that mindset so that you come into something like that in a positive vein? Okay, that's it. I've got my lemonade all in the refrigerator chilling, and I'm super excited about what's going to happen this week. There's a lot of big stuff this week, so I'm super excited about that. All right, my friends, have a beautiful week, and remember, get that cup half full. Get that resiliency going. All right, and buy my reference book, and it'll tell you exactly how to be prepared. Okay? All right, bye now.